Hi, welcome to my quick demonstration of the CSS Box Model. So this is what I'm going to try to show you. I'm going to have a box here which I'm going to style up, and I'm just going to put this box around the main content area, this area's content region, just so that you can see it. So that's what we're going to do, but this is what it looks like at the moment. So we have the content area, which is this one, so this could be made into a box that you can see that's visible, and inside that we have another box named puzzle, and I'm using the ID tag here, and the selector is puzzle. So the selector that we need to use create a style for is anything that you are able to reference in order to style it. So as it's an ID, we have to use the hashtag, and we need to make sure that this is spelled exactly the same as it is in the HTML. So we need to make sure that there are no uppercases, there's no difference in spelling. Sometimes it's best to just Control-C and Control-V to make sure you have the same name. So in order to see this box, I'm going to add a 1 pixel solid border so that you can see it. And I don't know why I wrote solid border, just because I'm saying it. So I need to write a border all the way around it that's 1 pixel solid, and I'm choosing purple as a built-in defined colour. So let's see what we have. Hopefully a box around the puzzle. No, we won't, because I've missed something. So styling alone will not work, because what you have to do is reference your styling. Now I could have placed this inside the head section as an embedded style, or I could have made it inline to the div tag. But actually the best way to do this is to have your styling in an external style sheet. Okay, so I've called it extras.css, and the reason I've done this is because I don't want to alter the main style sheet for the template. I don't want to mess it up. There's a lot of work gone into this, and I don't want to override anything that's already in there. So normally I'd have a little look and see whether I'm choosing anything that conflicts with what's in main. So I want to check what the selectors are in main and make sure I'm not conflicting with those selectors. What I'm going to do here is make sure this is named exactly the same as my name here, so it has to match precisely, and I'm putting that in the same place as my other CSS. So this one, you will see, if you look at the top, it says Assets CSS. So I'm referring to the correct location. So now that I've linked to it using the link relative and hypertext reference HTML string, I'm going to be able to see the box which is around this text here. So this is like making the little box on the screen. So let me make sure that that's worked. Okay, so I have that. Now in order to show some of the other things, I want to put a box around the main content area as well. So what I'm going to do is, that's called content and it's a class. So I'm going to make, that's the selector content, and because it's a class I need to use the dot. If it's an ID, I use the hash. And what I'm going to do there is place a border also around the content area. I'll make this blue so you can differentiate between the two. And so I know it's going to look horrendous, but you can now see you have a blue border and a purple border around the inner puzzle box. So imagine we want to move that across a little bit, so have a margin around the outside of this box here. Then what we can do is we go into this and we just say margin, colon. Now I'm going to use letter M's, so I want it to be the size of one letter M, and that's it, all the way around. So don't forget the semicolons at the end, even though the last one in a styling doesn't need to have a semicolon. So you can see now it has supposedly the size of the letter M all the way around. I think it's a capital M, so if you look at the size of a capital M, then you might be able to see that more clearly. So if I place a capital M in there, that might help. I know it doesn't make much sense, but it's just a demo. So you'll see it should be the size of the letter M in there and all the way around. So that's pretty much setting the margin which goes outside the box. So now I'm going to set the padding which will give you a margin that's inside the box. I'll just set it to the left for now, and I'll do one letter M just to the left. So you can actually do the same for the margin, just set it to the left and you'll see it's moved that in. And I might do the right as well and the top, but leave the bottom just to show you. So if I copy those and change those, so choose right, just make sure that you type all of these things in and make sure you have the colon and make sure you have the semicolon at the end, and I'll put that at the top. And you can take the last one off there, like I said, so I will do that, but it's good practice, because if I was to then go ahead and add something else in there, I'll do that in a moment, you could see that there's a problem. So you can now see this padding around the left, the right, but not at the bottom. Okay, so if I followed the rules and not bothered with the semicolon, and I decided I want to actually have a padding at the bottom as well, I'm going to have 2 letter M's there. I've just carried on adding to the end of that. It's messed it up a little bit, you'll see. So some things have worked and some things haven't worked. So if I then put this in there, and remember I need to go back up and end it correctly. Watch the difference now, see, so it's all worked correctly. So just make sure you add these semicolons, and if you do follow the rules and leave the last one off, but then start adding to the end of it, just make sure you do that. So width, I'm going to make it 50%, and let's just see. So that's not going to be 50% of your browser's window. You'll see that in a moment. That's going to be 50% of the window or the box it's contained within. So, and obviously you have your margins around that, which has pushed it over a little bit. So what you would need to do if you wanted more than one of those boxes in there is not use 50%, because you have to account for your borders as well. So 45% might account for your borders as well. You just have to be aware of that sort of thing. Okay, so you didn't really see much difference there. I'm not going to have that width. That was just to show you can do that as well. You can add background colours and foreground colours, but these are the main items that relate to the box model, and that was just to show you how to style up well, that was just to show you how it fits inside of the content area, how it looks in the content area. So you can comment it out if you don't want it. It is overriding the styling in the main style sheet, so you don't really want to be doing that, but that might have been an extra thing, so that's fine. It would apply everything that already exists for the selector content and then additional styles as well. So we will get rid of that, and you'll see it has indented it. Now you wouldn't really want that left margin to be there, but you may want the other margins to apply. So what I'm going to do is just have margin right, margin top, but not left. So margin top, just to show you, so I can put those in. Just makes a lot of sense when you spell it out like this, makes it easy to read. So you'll see the left one has gone, but the top is still there, and you can't really see the right. So that is the CSS Box Model. If you need more help, go to w3schools.com and you'll receive more help on setting the box model properties.